Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2. Now, to answer the elephant in the room, you're probably wondering, well, Innocent Villain, if this is Part 2, where's Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 1? And, when Part 1 came out, I didn't make this channel yet, so I didn't review it, and I don't really plan to. But in short, if you want my opinion on Part 1, it's good. It's a little cheesy, but it's good. You should check it out. And yeah, that's about it. Now, on to Master of the Universe Revelations Part 2. Oh man, if ever there was something that was just the rule of cool, this would definitely be it. Because is this the best show ever? No. Is it the most well written? No. But is it hype as hell? Oh yes, 100%. Now, this, from my understanding, Master of the Universe Revelations is a continuation of the original He-Man series from like the 80s, I believe. There was one that ran into the 2000s, which is the one that I grew up with. I did watch some of the episodes. I don't have it memorized 100%, but from my understanding of what I've heard from people is that the original Master of the Universe from the 80s was more, like anthology based, from what I've heard. I haven't really heard anything about like a concrete story that like flowed through completely. Meanwhile, the 2001, from what I remember of it, was more of like a story based thing. Like it did have a through line with the plot. And Master of the Universe Revelations feels like a combination of like those two ideas, that like it has the cheesy one off things from the 80s series. As if you've seen part one, in part one they have flashbacks that are like condensed He-Man episodes where they just fight Skeletor in one off instances and beat him and so on and so forth. And then you have the major plot line with the full-on story that's going through, where it's like, all right, this is what's happening, this is why everything's going on, yada yada yada, here we go. And part two is definitely more story based than part one was. Part two focuses more on the fact that it's like, all right, big things happened, playtime's over, this is the story, we're focusing on it, let's do this, and I am fine with that. Like I said, it's not the best story in the world, it's not crazy or anything, like it has you nail biting, it's not like how I just recently saw Arcane, where like I was on the edge of my seat, I didn't know what was gonna happen. No, it's a simple plot line, Skeletor's evil, He-Man's good, they fight. But this, I think, is a little bit different because Revelations feels more like a next generation kind of thing, like how there was the Speedy Racer animated series, The Next Generation, where it was the younger cast that were fill-ins for the original cast that picked up the mantle and were the protagonists of the series. This feels like that in a sense. Prince Adam is still He-Man, and Krenger's still Krenger, and you have Orko, and all the original characters are there, but without spoiling anything, it does feel like the newer characters, or some characters that are more focused on a different light, are the next generation that will take up the mantle and be the new main characters of the He-Man or Masters of the Universe franchise, whichever you like to think of it as. And I can definitely see that, and honestly, I kind of vibe with it, because all the characters, they're written well enough that I can connect with them and enjoy them, and then, as I mentioned earlier, the rule of cool kicks in, and I love everything else that happens, because although this isn't like a Citizen Kane or an Inception or some other movie that you can think of that has like a crazy, writing that like left you like, oh man, like I left the theater crazy, like I'm still thinking about it years later. No, it's not like that, but it does what it needs to do to get everything to the action, which is what you're really here for. The action is awesome. The animation has like this 80s and like current time look, where like all the characters look like they did in the past, but they have this refined, cartoony slash anime style animation that makes them fit in with today. It's really cool. I really like it. And oh my, ooh, they really go in with the action. It's just so cool. Seriously. Like, you can complain about the character development of the plot and all that, blah 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 blah, but nothing's gonna beat seeing He-Man ride Krenger into a dragon breathing fire and slashing the H through the. I don't care about the plot line at that point. It's just cool. So that's what I'm here for. All right? It's a cheesy, show based off of action figures. Get over yourself if you're complaining about it. It's just cool. That's all I care about. That's what I'm here for. That's what I enjoyed of it. It was awesome. And don't get me wrong, like I said, it does still have some good enough writing to connect you to the characters. There are plot lines that happen, but it's cheesy and it happens kind of fast at times. That's a complaint. But again, I don't really care because it was just so cool. And to talk about more of the cool things, I'm going to go into spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, then to wrap up my thoughts on it without spoilers, it's really cool. That's it. Check it out. If you're a fan of He-Man, I think you will like this series. Uh, there are going to be people who are going to complain about it, saying it's like feminist heavy and trying to like push an agenda, but just just ignore those people. That's what I do. I because I remember when part one came out, people complained. They're like, "Oh my god, this is feminist heavy and it's focusing too much on the female characters and it's just shh, just shh, stop it." Yeah, they're in it. They're in the forefront sometimes, but it's not that kind of thing. It's not like the Avengers Endgame moment where all the female characters just showed up in the middle of the battle next to each other, and it's just like this is a shot for the ladies, and it's like, okay, I see what you're doing there, and this is no, it's not like that. So those people just need to stop killing our fun, all right? But everybody else, you probably enjoy this. If you just want to see something really cool and action packed, check this out and you will enjoy it. Now, spoilers. We're gonna talk about spoilers. I'm saying spoilers a lot because I want you to understand that if you don't want spoilers, leave it now. Spoilers. Spoil. Okay. Now I'm moving into the spoiler section. So, there's so much coolness that happens in this. Like, Adam calling the power of Grayskull without the sword and turning into this like Hulk barbarian monster, and he squares up with Skeletor, who does have the sword, and he's all powered up with like his weird like green lava H carved into his chest. You're like, oh, there's just so much coolness in this part. It's 5 episodes. It's like 2.5 hours, less than that. There's just so much cool that happens. Oh man, freaking Evil Lyn becoming God Lyn. And that design though is just God Lyn look she looking fire. Like she's just like all ripped and buff, and she's in like the warrior plate armor. Her hair gets short. I don't know why her hair gets short. Like it just kind of happens. It doesn't revert back to normal, which I guess is a nitpick in her character design. Like her hair was short. I don't remember. Like, but like she just looks cool. She looks badass, and like she's just controlling the powers of the universe. And like you think at first like this is gonna be about Skeletor. It's like, oh man, Skeletor's the big bad. He has the power of the universe. How are they gonna stop him? And then she steals the power from Skeletor, and then Skeletor joins the good guys to help them beat her. And it's like, this is just cool. Like, who would have thought you would have seen He-Man and Skeletor powered up with the power of Grayskull fighting a god version of Evil Lyn? Like, it's just cool, man. Oh man, and Cringer being brave is just lit. I love seeing Cringer. Cringer, not the MVP. Orko's the MVP. Orko is the MVP, but Cringer definitely second. Like Cringer just showing up, like effing up people. It's just so good. I love it, and like the stakes that they raise, like Preternia gets destroyed by God Lyn, and I was just like, oh wow, that's it. It's just destroyed. That's crazy, bro. Wow, can't believe they just destroyed that. I wasn't expecting that. She's like, you want to like see all your past heroes gone, just like Thanos snapped them out of existence. And I was just like, oh, you just dropping nukes on planets now. This is where we're at. We raising armies of the dead now. We summoning the god of death to fight. Okay, cool. Keep going. Like the 5th episode is just 30 minutes of concentrated cool action. Like there's just one long take scene where it's just He-Man flarking up people. Like he's just going at it. Like he just shows up he's like, I'm gonna clear a path for everybody to escape. And they're like, but there's nowhere safe. And he's like, yes, there is, behind me. And then he just runs up and starts beating the hell out of people. And then like explosion happens and he hops on Krenger, jumps into the dragon, as I mentioned earlier, and slashes it apart. And like a huge explosion happens. It's so cheesy. And he's just holding up the sword, and I'm just like, I don't care about plot right now. This is just too cool. Like the animation's just so smooth. I don't really care about anything else. I'm just enjoying it. I'm having a great time. That's pretty much it. The series is just a great time. Are there great emotional moments? Yeah, like Adam reconvening with his father and his mother. That was really emotional. The mom and the dad rekindling their relationship. You know, Tila meeting her mother, the sorceress, and finally understanding everything about her childhood and why her mother wasn't around, and then Tila becoming the new. Oh man, that was hilarious. Tila becoming the new sorceress and going after Godlin, and because the sorceress in Masters of the Universe canon can't leave the Castle Grayskull except for Tila because she's a different kind of sorceress. She broke the rule and is capable of leaving while still maintaining her sorceress abilities. So when Godlin's like, haha, you think I'm gonna fight you, Tila? No, all I have to do is leave, and you can't fight me. And Godlin just flies up into the sky, and she's cackling, and then Tila just like flies up right next to her, and it's like, unless, whap! And I'm just like, oh, I burst out laughing. I'm not gonna lie, it was very funny for me. Yeah, you can say I have lowbrow humor, but hey, comedy's subjective, and I personally found it funny. So whatever, sue me. I don't care. I'm just a guy on the internet saying his thoughts into a camera. I don't care. It's whatever. Man, just and Orko's return from the dead was just. I don't even care. They don't explain how Orko is able to stay alive after all the dead go back. Like it just he just stays alive. I don't care. Him coming back and like bodying everybody, bro. When he showed up to fight the King of Death, and he's just like, because the whole thing, the King of Fear is like, ah, yes, I love the taste of people because when they're afraid, it's delicious. And then Orko shows up and he's like, if you like the taste of kings, then I'm sure the taste of the King of Fear, fear must be delicious. And I'm just like, great that I messed up the line a little bit. It does sound a lot cooler if you listen to Orko say it, but nevertheless, you get the point. I was just like, damn, that was menacing, but also that was fire. Ooh, he just looks so clean. He's just bodying everybody. It's awesome. And then when freaking Adam gets the sword back and he transforms and gives the power to Krenger and Skeletor, and then it just cuts to Orko outside, and he's just like, he's like, you guys are in trouble now. Ah, man, it's just such a good time. Well, one thing I wasn't expecting though was that they set it up for a part 3 or a second series, because from what I heard, Master of the Universe Revelations is supposed to be a 2-part series. So if it continues after this, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a Masters of the Universe and then a new subtitle that has however many parts they want to make it. So, excuse me, I would be perfectly fine with that if that like they want to continue this story and it's Masters of the Universe, insert whatever subtitle. It's cool with me. I'll be watching it. Like I said, the series is cool. Is it cheesy and campy? Yeah, sure, whatever. That's fine. It's not to a degree that I find it ridiculous like some other things. Like the series doesn't take itself that serious. Like it's not like I'm supposed to sit here and like be like emotionally wrenched, compelled by everything that happens. Like it's just a fun time, and I enjoyed it, and I'm going to continue to enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to when they release more. And with that, that'll be the end of this review for Masters of the Universe Revelations Part 2. You can check out parts 1 and 2 on Netflix if you want to. I mean, everyone basically has a Netflix subscription, or yeah, so just check it out yourself. And remember, folks, you are innocent until proven villainous, and I'll catch you in the next one.